Hey y'all, it's your girl Jada Rayne, and welcome to the first episode of No Brew Sh. And today I wanted to have a conversation about staying motivated, what success actually looks like. I think success sometimes can differ from person to person, and when we're trying to think of how we want to attain that success, sometimes you start to feel a little bit of pressure. And so I brought three lovely ladies here with me today, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves that are going to have this conversation with me.
Hi, I'm Jessica Smith. I am a senior here, graduating 2020. And I'm a first generation student here at Indiana University as well for my family.
Hi, I'm Khaila King. I'm also a senior here at Indiana University. I'm majoring in journalism. I'm also first gen, so we can
Hi y'all, my name is Victoria A. Jones. I'm a senior double majoring in sociology and African American African diaspora studies, and I'm a Pisces.
Oh wait, I'm a Pisces too. Pisces, dang.
I'm not.
I'm not.
Okay, well, don't know sign man. Pisces. So first I kind of want to ask you guys to kick off this conversation. What does success look like for you guys, especially, with graduation coming up, because, class of 2020. What do you think success looks like? We can start with you, Victoria.
For me, travel. I definitely try to be on the move in different countries, different places. I'm hoping to work in nonprofit. So just helping different Black women across the world is like a goal for me that I think would be successful for me.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
For me, I would say fulfillment, being fulfilled in whatever I do. I don't because I feel like I'm growing, so my what I want in the future might change from what I want now. So as long as I'm fulfilled on the inside, and then I feel like I'm successful because I've achieved my own happiness, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like that's exactly what I was going to say. Just being able to do what I want to do, whether that's emotionally, with my relationships with people, whether it's professionally, what I want to do that way. Whatever I feel at that moment is kind of momental. Whatever I feel at that moment is what I would say was success to me.
Yeah, I feel like it's interesting to hear you guys say personal fulfillment and relationships, because I think when we think of success, a lot of times people are like, what's that job look like? What's that money looking like? That kind of thing. Because I know personally that's what I've been stressing about a lot. It's I don't want to be out here unemployed, living in a box. That's what I'm worried about. So I don't know. You feel pressure from outside forces, parents, family, friends, that type of thing?
So I decided not to go to grad school after graduation. I feel like there's pressure for that to go directly into grad school. So whenever people try to give me advice like that, I listen politely. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a job, right? But thank you. Well, why not grad school? Bro, I did a whole independent study for a year, and I was like, oh, so this is research. It's not for me. So I'm gonna get some time, get some work experience. I want to know I want to learn how to use what I've learned to actually help people in the real world. So taking theory to praxis and actually applying what I'm learning. So that's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's dope. I think that'd be great. What about you?
I also feel that pressure to go to grad school. Every time I talk to my grandma, she's just so you going to grad school? And I'm like, no, not quite. You gonna pay for grad school?
Yeah. Right.
So I mostly try to focus on what I want instead of what other people want. I don't know, it's all back to that fulfillment idea. I'm not gonna be fulfilled if I'm chasing somebody else's dream. And on top of that, in the profession that I'm in as a journalism major and stuff like that, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. It's about that networking. Yeah. So I could go to grad school and this and that and have come out with the same amount of connections, or you know what I mean, not a lot of connections. And it's just it's all about connecting with people. And there's people there in our profession that have not gone to school at all,
right,
and they just know the right people. So it's just I'm not about to waste this money or this amount of time of my life on something that might not benefit me. You know what I mean?
And see, that's the shit they don't tell you when you're going
to
school.
They don't.
They don't really prepare you for what's after. You know what I mean? People kind of mention things about internships, but I don't know about y'all. A lot of this stuff I feel I learned about late. Having to network with people, and it's all about who you know type of thing. But then if you don't really know nobody, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think there's a level of nervousness probably for a lot of people, especially if you first generation.
Yeah.
Nobody set the blueprint for you to figure out what to do moving forward. If I talk to my parents about shit, they don't really know. They gonna give me the best advice that they know how to give me, and then it's kind of you'll figure it
That's
out.
really the main thing.
Yeah.
Like that. Like my parents, they say like, we might not know exactly what to say. All we can say is, I hope that you find the resources to get your shit, because we can't do it for you.
Yeah.
We don't know all the ropes. So either get your stuff done, and then if you can find people to talk to, then find those people. But we can't find those networks for you. And then when they have resources here, being a first generation, you kind of don't know when to make that first step, because they tell you from beginning, you should network, but do you know how to network?
Mm-hmm.
You can network with your friends, but talking to someone that has some type of authority, being able to have that, be able to break down that barrier is difficult.
Especially when it's like, they're quite a few years older than you.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, like as a young black girl going in there and there's a bunch of old white men, I'd be like, what we gonna talk about?
Yeah.
What we gonna relate about? Like, I don't even know what to say to you. Yeah. So,
You really do not know.
no, definitely, I feel that. I don't know, as far as success too, like, sometimes I feel like you see things on social media that make it feel like you gotta be in a certain place at a certain age. What y'all think about that?
It takes time for everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, whether someone else gets it before you get it, that doesn't determine that you will never get it. It also doesn't determine how better someone is doing than you are. It's all about time, and everybody doesn't go through the same thing at every time. So you see people doing this, well, they're like, well, if I can do it, then you can do it too. That sounds good, but maybe that's not what's made for you at that moment.
And shit, I mean, your circumstances plays a big role in
Yeah.
that
A
too.
huge
Like,
role.
I think they don't really factor that in as well. Like the shit you go through while you're in undergrad, it doesn't account for like missing your family, being far away from home. It don't account for, culture shock. It don't account for, I think, just in general, feeling out of place, feeling lonely, feeling depressed. I mean, I feel like all that definitely has an impact on your time too. So, yeah.
I definitely feel like with social media, it's easy to compare yourself to other people.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I was younger, like freshman year, sophomore year, when you're like still trying to like find out who you are and like what you want to be, or who you want to be, like you'll see other people like progressing, and then like it's like this thing, it's like a phenomenon where like people our age are like traveling the world, like, and they look like they having the time of their lives, but you never know, they probably like broke and struggling, living on bitties, like flexing for the gram, you know what I mean? But it doesn't look like that to you, so exactly. But missing class,
Right.
won't be getting one soon. So, so it's just like it's like hard like to like avoid doing that, but like I feel like I've conditioned myself as I gotten older to like focus on my specific journey, especially like as an artist, like when I draw and stuff like that and seeing other people, it's like I'm self-taught, so like I'm trying to teach myself, so like I have to give myself time and stop comparing myself to other people, because my vision and my journey is not going to be the same as somebody else's. Like she said before, like it's all with time, like you have to focus on like what's meant for you, like
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I actually saw this. It wasn't a tweet. It was like, I want to say a tweet because I don't know, it feels easy to say. But anyways, it was an Instagram post. And it was like, talking about how like The Weeknd was homeless before he was famous. SZA was jumping from car to car before she was famous. I think it's so easy to try to go with that first vision of what you think instead of wanting to start at ground zero. Especially because I feel like, especially when you're in college, you already feel like you at ground zero. So you feel like there's nowhere else to go but up. You don't want to accept the fact that like, you might be right back
Be
there.
at zero for a minute.
Yeah. So definitely. Do you have anything to add?
Like you were saying about traveling, I definitely get that like, I guess like FOMO. I'm like kind of feeling jealous of other people because I'm like, wow, I really wish I was in I wish I was in Fiji, or I wish I was in South Africa, things like that. And like I don't have anything like new content to post. Like since people are like always uploading things, I feel like pressure to like upload new pictures or whatnot. But then like I always be having like pictures like from a while ago. I'm like, all right, well I have such those pictures like back in the archives. I can plan these posts out and when we work. I just find people like that aren't in Bloomington be thinking I'm still overseas, and I'm like I don't correct them when they think I am. So it's
overseas. I was like, damn, she's traveling.
like, I got so this is post from back in the day. Like I'm like, what's that Wednesday? What's that Thursday? What's that Friday?
Right.
So like making it work what you got, I guess, is like the point of that.
Right. That's why like lately I've been like on a social media cleanse. Like no social media, at all. And I feel like it's helped because I ain't focused on what everybody else is doing and I'm staying in my own lane, focused on my own things, and I feel like it's kind of helped me flourish because then I'm not turning my attention to everything else or feel like, okay, this project isn't going as far along as I want it to go because somebody else doing X, Y, and Z. So I think that's helped. The social media cleansing definitely helped. I don't know about y'all, but are there other ways that you feel like you kind of helped that or alleviate that pressure?
For me, like during like midterms or finals in general, I try to like cut back on it, especially more so finals than anything else. I'm like, all right, it's my last chance to get it together before they put in that final grade. So I'm gonna like cut back from everybody.
Yeah.
I guess like also just taking time to do stuff for myself. So like what's really important for me is like leisure reading. So like I make a list for like each season, like books I want to read. So like I make sure to like make out time not just for reading for class or like watching certain show, watching a movie. I'm like, all right, this is a book to help me feel like centered and like back to what I want to do. Because when I was like little, I'd be like reading books like back to back to back. So like being able to have time to set aside for reading is just really important to me.
So making time for yourself, yeah, definitely. Gotcha.
I also like mess with the cleanse like I did one over the summer. I feel like this summer was my most productive like summer just because like I wasn't on social media a lot, and on top of that like I wasn't like in a relationship or like chasing after something else. Like all my attention was centered on me. Like I had to like strip out the external forces and focus on me. Yeah. That was very productive. Crazy stuff happened, but I got through it. And then like on top of that, like do like as far like self-care practices that keep me on my lane, like meditating and stuff like that, and like I like crystals and like stones and stuff. So like I'd be like getting my chakras in line and stuff. So so stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like to write things down. Have a planner. I have a calendar on my phone. I have a calendar like right when I step out of my room. It's a big calendar, and I have just written everything down, like every small thing, whether it's like do Postmates for a little bit and then come back home and do homework for about an hour and a half. But like I always try to, and then like for exams I try to have everything like a week and a half in advance to try to study and try to make sure I'm up on everything. Just to make sure that I don't have to worry about like the stress of not knowing, because I know for my freshman year, my sophomore year, I was just kind of like going with the flow. It wasn't really like, you know, hard on it, like I need to make sure I do this, that, and the third. But then I figured out like a planner actually does work. Actually planning everything out that you have to do helps, because now you know what you have to back off on. What, you know, I can't go to the bar. I can't.
Wait a minute.
I can't stay on the phone for too long because I will lose my way.
Let's go back to this bar because I feel a little bit attacked. Every Wednesday was me and you.
That was junior year.
That was been a couple
more years. Okay. But yeah, I just gotta pull back sometimes and just look at my framework and say, I know what I'm here for, and I know what pressure is against me. I'm gonna relieve that pressure from playing.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, I mean, as far as pressure, I feel like I'm not very good at managing my pressure because I just pile more stuff on. Like, I just be trying to stay busy, so I don't have to think about that. And I'm like, I'm gonna do this over here, do this, and then just book up all my time. I will say though, like what keeps me the most motivated, this is gonna sound weird or corny, but I feel like I look at the bigger picture. For me, it's about where I'm trying to go, and I feel like that's very much a reality for me. So I look at like one day I'm gonna be a big motherfucking deal. Like one day people gonna know my name. One day people gonna talk about me in their households. I'm gonna be a household name.
Period.
So I just keep that at the back of my mind. Like one time, I kind of think about like I know that even if I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life, that whatever I do, I want to be impactful. And I want to impact others, and so I just kind of just, that dream and that hope, I just hold on to it and feel like it's gonna happen one of these days. If I just work hard enough, that's what I do, just work hard. Yeah. So, yeah. But, what was I gonna say? Sorry, it got awkwardly quiet. Y'all looking at me like, bitch, for the next question. I was gonna say, back to kind of like the family thing, because I kind of want to get into that a little bit more. And you guys, what is your family's version of success look like for you? Because I think that's really interesting to compare what your family thinks is successful for you and what you think personally. So what do you think?
My mom was like, you need a job with some benefits and they'll be back on my couch. So trying to get that hold
short
up.
and sweet.
Yeah. But yeah, like obviously like to my mom, she'll help me out, but like the goal is like to go to school and be able to know how to take care of yourself. So like working on doing that.
Yeah.
I think it's like different with my parents. Like I feel like my grandparents, because they older, they're like college, like but like my parents are like more understanding. I think they're like more like just proud of me that I made it this far. Like I went to France, I did all these things. Like they're like proud, like because like nobody before me has done this. So like I'm like setting the tone for like my younger siblings and stuff like that. So like I don't think they're like pressured, because they just know they trust in me to make the right decision for me, and like they don't try to like tell me what to do. Luckily I've been blessed. But like my grandparents are more like, or like my grandmother, like she's super like, I don't know, in her head like life is like a lot easier for, like I don't know like I don't know what she's expecting me like with grad school and stuff like that. Like in her head she just thinks like, okay, was really smart, she's gonna do A, B, C, and D. One time I was like talking to my mom and I was just like, oh, I think I want to get into law, but this was like way back when. And then my mom was like, what? So she told my grandma, and now I had to hear about law school for the next 3 months, and I'm like, I'm not going to law school, but thank you killed my dreams.
I feel like that's the thing. I don't know, like everybody I talk to, it'd be like a lawyer, somehow a lawyer, even if your major ain't
exactly, they do. They love law. Like I don't know.
Go to law school because it's gonna make you some money. Yeah, definitely.
And then they try to do the, well, you can major in like English and then go to law school.
Exactly.
I'm like, that's cool, but that's not for me.
I said, you ain't the one that's gonna be pouring over no law books.
Yeah.
I think like when I look at the older people in my family, their idea of success is like pop out some babies, get married, then you'd have made it. Like I think for a lot of people I'm from Fort Wayne, so I feel like that's what I see a lot of the times. It's like people getting married, people having kids, and nothing wrong with that, but I think my family, to them, that's like the you know, settle down, and that's success in a way. I think my parents, kind of back to your point, Kayla, like my parents, like you said, are proud that I made it this far. Like they feel like I'm successful now. They be bragging on me. They be like, damn, I can't believe that's my daughter. So which makes me feel good, because it makes me feel like, you know, I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely.
My family's the same way. My family it's kind of different, because my family tries to do the Fort Wayne family. and like, when you get out of here, you're gonna have to get you a job to pay as well. You didn't just go through these 4 years for nothing. And it's you're at year 3 now, or not at year 4, but at a moment they were like, you know, you're at year 3 now. There's no going back. You know what I'm saying? You passed the halfway mark. Now I have fiance, and they're like, so this marriage, this wedding, and these kids, and I'm like, well, we've got time. We've got time for that, because I still have many, many years of school left. And then that's kind of up in the air, because the money is not there. So it's like, should I just wait for a little bit and then do the other part of success, and then come back to that and do that success later?
Yeah, I feel that. That's how my family is too. Like, I be telling them, like, hold on, wait a minute, I gotta get married first. I ain't trying to, not to say you gotta do it in no specific order, but that's how I would like to do it. But let me get married and establish myself before I think about kids and all that other stuff, you know. I was gonna say too that sometimes going back home, the idea of going back home makes me feel like I'm not gonna be as successful. And that sounds so horrible, but I feel like when I go home, everybody feels stagnant to me. Like I feel like everybody's kind of just there, and then that's it. And so when I go home, if after I graduate I were faced with the idea of going back home, I think it would make me feel some type of way, like, damn, I didn't make it nowhere. And that sounds bad to say, but that's how I honestly feel.
I feel you too. Like, I'm really not trying to be nowhere near Indy. I'm not trying to be in the Midwest in general.
No.
Like, I really am trying to be overseas, but like, I'm not overseas. I'm trying to be like Atlanta or New York or Miami, something like that. Because I just feel like I've lived here like majority of my life. Like, I'm ready for something different. Especially like studying abroad, it makes you want to know more about other places and other people.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't feel that way.
You don't?
No.
Well, how you feel?
Well, going back home, it's just like, if you're thinking about it in the Midwest, like, where are the creatives? Like I don't know. Like I feel like it's more competitive in a city like Atlanta, or like what there's a bunch of creatives and you're competing against all these different people, like in New York and California. But we can build here. Is like what I'm thinking in my head. Like you can take what you learned there and bring that back, because you're getting like it's cheaper to build here. Like if you think about living in New York and living in these other places, like it's cheaper. You know this space, you can build here. Like and like I think my mindset changed because I like interned at like this magazine last summer in Indianapolis. Dope experience. Like I was like low-key, like I was like Indiana whack, gotta get out of here, like gotta get out. But like after being there, it's just like we can build here, like but we don't like realize that we can. It's just like it's gonna be a lot not necessarily easier, but like it's to our advantage. This is home base, you know what I mean? So like I feel like I can take what, like I can travel, you can travel, but you can always come back home and bring that with you. So I'm like, this is the city that molded me, or like this is the place that molded me, and I want to just be like fuck it, because it's like it made me the creative that I am today in some type of way. So like I don't know, I just kind of want to build here. I want to travel, I want to go to these different places, but I still want to build here because there's somebody that's younger than us. It's gonna be like Indiana whack, like we gotta get out. Like I want to set the tone, you know what I mean? I want to build here, so like somebody could be like, I can make it in Indiana, like I can foster my creativity here. Like I don't know, that's what I've been thinking lately.
I like that. That's a different perspective, because I don't feel like I've never heard that perspective before, and now you're saying, I'm like, damn, you know, I still kind of want to move. I feel like I don't know. I think it's easier to want to move into those spaces because the opportunities are already built. They're already there. So I think people feel like they're more abundant in those areas. And I think that's why a lot of times people be like, fuck here, because it's like, where are the opportunities at? It feels like you got to search high and low. Because I know you mentioned, you know, the magazine you worked at. And it's like, some people may not be aware that those opportunities exist. True. And if it is, it's like far in between. So I guess some people think like, okay, if I go to a bigger city, it is more competition, but it's more chances to find my lane, you know what I mean? That's true. But I agree with you. I think that's a good perspective, because I'm like, dang, I ain't never thought about it like that.
I'm not leaving Indy. I'm gonna stay here. It's an old saying, if you can't make it in Indy or Indiana, you can't make it anywhere, because it's easy to live here. It is. It's definitely easy to live here. Now, with my major, community health is needed everywhere. So I would rather stay here where, I mean, especially in a place like Bloomington, where homelessness is at an all-time high and is steady increasing due to places like in other states that are just dropping people off here. And so with the platform that I have, with this piece of paper I'm going to earn, I'm going to try to work it and try to fix, you know, not fix, I can't be the person that fixed it, but you know, be that person that'll aim and shoot for those goals, be able to aid for that instead of leaving and then like high and dry, y'all whack. No, I'm not saying that's your perspective.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying that's a perspective. I mean, that's like, you know, that's like the umbrella over like, you know, there are reasons why you might think it's not suitable for you or whack. But yeah.
I do think though, if I really make it where I want to make it, I definitely would come back and do something for those communities, for my community back home. But no, I feel what you're saying. I think it's a good point. I think it's a real good point. I don't know. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I feel like that's a good perspective. You got to come back and do for, but I don't know, man. Because I'm just thinking about like when I had the opportunity to intern in LA and I went there, I don't know, it just opened up so many possibilities for me personally. Like it opened up job opportunities that I did not know existed. You know, being from Fort Wayne, being from Indiana, and even going to school in Bloomington, like I'm like thinking, what job am I going to do? Because I'm a journalism major just like you, and I want to be more entertainment, I want to be more in the hip-hop lane, and that's not here. Like if you take an internship here, it's like hard news, local community of Bloomington news, and I'm like, I don't really want to do that for the rest of my life. And then I go there and I'm like, damn, like I didn't even know I could act like this is actually a reality. I could actually really do what I'm passionate about and not just settle. I don't know, that's something about being here just makes me feel like I'm gonna settle. But I don't know, that's how I feel about it.
I can understand that. I kind of feel like not that like I'm not in a rush to leave because I know that I can build here. So like I don't know, that's like my like mindset or whatever. So like I do want to go to these other places because there's opportunities. I don't want to limit myself to just one place, but then also like I want to build here as well because it's just a lot easier. Like not easier, but like it's just like I don't know. I know here. This is home base. You know what I mean? So it's like I have home team advantage almost.
And you may not have to start at the way bottom.
Yeah, at the way bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you do move to these big cities, it's like you're gonna be in a small ass apartment.
Exactly. Know anybody? Yeah. Like I don't know.
That's true.
You might have an auntie that's like in the courthouse. You feel me? And you like law.
You want me to know when you need a place to stay?
You never know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Sorry, my throat is dry. What was I gonna ask? How have you stayed motivated through college? What's kept you motivated through this phase of your life?
my support system. And that changes through the years, but my support system definitely. When I came in, like the summer before my freshman year taking classes, it was kind of like a friendly competition between some of my floor mates. And it was like, we taking this chemistry class together, we trying to figure this out. I wonder if I'm going to get 94, you going to get the 86. Then we going to keep going back and forth. Then freshman year, came in with less of those people, possibly. And then it's kind of still that friendly competition, but still we have to deal with our lives being homesick and stuff like that. So that kind of pulls back on our motivation. Then you think about home and you're like, you don't want to go back there with empty-handed. You want to keep going.
Yeah.
So then sophomore year gets even more difficult because you're finally like, you're actually on your own here. And so then you get to junior year and you're like, okay, I've kind of learned the ropes a little bit. Past the halfway mark, and now you kind of know what you can do to lessen your stressors, which also helps motivate you, because now you think you might have things under control.
Yeah.
Then senior year, you like, I'm trying to get out of here, so that's my motivation. That's my motivation.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm embarrassed to look at freshman me. I'll be looking back like, damn, you was a hot ass mess. I'll be so embarrassed. Like, people that knew me, I'll be like, dang, like, I'll be so embarrassed. I just feel like I was kind of lost, and I was worried about the wrong shit. Worried about finding a college relationship. Worried about friends and the people like me. Worried about going to these parties every weekend. You know, it was every weekend. Mm-hmm. That type of stuff. I wasn't really focused on. I mean, I did stuff. I was involved, things like that. But I don't feel like I really sat down and got serious with myself until maybe like the end of sophomore year. I feel like is when it was kind of that turning point. I feel like junior year is the ultimate turning point.
It is.
Because now you're like, damn, I got a year left, so probably should take it serious. But I don't know. The first 2 years, I feel like I was just coasting, like wrapped up in the wrong things. Definitely wrapped up in the wrong things.
Back to like motivation, I would say what motivates me is my sister. She's my like best friend. Like I talk to her like every day. We're like inseparable. Why? Because like I don't know, like she's just kind of like molded me into the person I am today in so many different ways. Like she's enlightened me on things that I don't experience. Like so like I don't know, she's just kind of like my soundboard where I bounce ideas off of, and like she like supports me, and like I just want to do this like one just like. Because I know that she wasn't presented the opportunities I was, because certain privileges I have as a cis woman, like as like certain like things. So I feel like, I don't know, I'm doing it like to like for her, because she like maybe she didn't believe in herself enough to where she could, but then also to help her and bring her up and lift up her community and different communities that suffer from the same type of oppressions that she does. And like I don't know, I just like do it for her. Like she is the embodiment of like black womanhood and like beautiful, like she's just like I just love her, like she's like top tier like fan, like I'm her number one fan, and I just like wish she saw herself in the lens that I see her in, because she's like incredibly talented, but she doesn't have that confidence. So I feel like I'm doing it for her. Like I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I love her.
I think. Did you have something?
I was trying to figure out how to word it, but like. I feel like my motivation gonna sound a little bit like a diss, like it's not a diss. Like, shout out to all the moms out there, because moms really be doing it. But like, I know like some people that like became a mother like while they're in school, and then like had to drop out or had to put it on pause, and then help like raise their kids. So like having family members that had gone through that, like especially like my grandma, like she didn't finish college because she had my aunt, and then my mom, she was able to finish college, but she had my sister, so it kind of like made things a little bit more difficult, especially like on like scholarship for like athletics and for academics, and then like. My sister, she had my niece, and then like she still ended up getting like a different degree, and she ended up getting like another degree after that. But like I'm not trying to put any of my goals on pause. So like for me, just being focused on like my career and doing the things that I want to do is like what motivates me. Like maybe eventually, like I'll be like, actually I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna front. I don't really want to be a mom like that. I will be somebody's aunt. I'm somebody's auntie.
Sorry.
Yeah. But like, I really don't want to be responsible.
There ain't no play dates with you.
Right. Y'all kids can come over to my house. I'll watch them like maybe for like a Saturday, like every few months. Something like that. If I'm
every few months.
If I'm in the country,
Wow.
I'm really trying to be about me and be in my lane, accomplish my goals, and they occasionally say, hey, some kids, drop off some gifts, be friendly, a cool auntie.
Be in and out type.
Yes. I'm really trying to be like, not to be like sound corny, but like in my bag, like in my lane, like doing what I need to do to get my goals accomplished.
I feel that. My main motivation sometimes, I look at my parents and like, shout out to y'all. I feel like sometimes they're so unhappy with what they're doing for a living, and that makes me sad. Like, it's a job, it's a means to make money, and then that's it. But I don't know if they're really passionate. At least my mom's really into fashion. Lord knows she really into fashion, and I think ultimately that is what she would have loved to do if she'd have had the same opportunity. But I think now she's in sales and doing that kind of thing, and she ain't passionate about it. She don't light up about it the way she does when she talks about doing fashion and stuff like that. And I think that's what motivates me, is I want to be able to like wake up in the morning and be like, damn, like I'm excited to go to work. I'm excited to create. Probably not every day, like there's gonna be some days like I'd rather not be here.
Yeah.
But like just to be passionate about what I'm doing, because I feel like ain't nothing worse than to be stuck doing something you really don't give a fuck about. Go ahead.
Like my sophomore year, I had started working at this retail place, and I had talked to people, like some people that worked there for like 20 years. And I really sat there and thought about that, and I was like, they were sitting here in retail folding clothes or scanning something for 20 years. I know if there's something that they wanted to do, and I'm in this predicament where I can do something. So I don't want to go back to that, and I'm going to work as hard as I can not to ever go back to that. Do something that I want to do.
Especially when it's somebody older. I mean, when it's a younger person, but especially when it's somebody older.
You gotta do what you gotta do. But when it's somebody older, you're like, and it's not because they retired. That's because that was their job.
Yeah.
That was their only option.
Okay.
I completely agree. There was this one summer I worked at this gas station. I didn't even need to work. I was like, you cool. Like, you said, you at home, you don't need to work. And I was like, nah, I'm trying to be overseas. So I need to save my money to, like, be able to go somewhere. I'm like, my butt should have been at home, resting, watching TV or something. Because I worked this gas station. I worked, like, the first shift. So I'm like, I'm dealing with, like, construction workers, these like old men always call me like baby or sweetie, trying to like I don't need that nonsense in my life. And then like people get upset if I don't get the like rewards right, and I think to myself like, well, you just slow down and let me scan your stuff properly instead of trying to rush me. I'll get your cigarettes like you want it, okay? But like just dealing with people like just really kind of like petty about little things, but then like it made me like upset, because I'm like, look, I'm doing the best I can. I never like worked a job like this, but also just like understand like this is something like that they get to look forward to, consistency. Like, all right, I'm gonna get this certain type of drink, I'm gonna get this type of cigarettes, and then I'm gonna go to this job I don't like. So just think about that too. It just made me like damn, like I'm glad I'm about to go back to school and be taking these classes, and I gotta come back here.
Cause my dad be like, you gotta look at shit like it's just a means to an end. You just here for the moment. The payoff, you just here for the moment. You know, go get your money or do whatever it's gonna do to benefit you. But realize this ain't like the end of the chapter. I think that's how a lot of us be looking at graduation sometimes, is this is the end, like this is over, and it's really not. I mean, really when you think about it, you're opening a new chapter into a new part of your life. Could be exciting if it didn't have all these stigmas, and pressures attached to it.
And then also, I think that people think immediately after graduation, you're supposed to have everything planned out, like for the rest of your days. And I know some people that, they flip that tassel over and they over at Subway. Or they over at Sam's Club. Yeah. And they feel like they're I don't know the word, but like kind of ashamed that they're in that state. But it's like you walking out of here at 23, 22, 21, you're not supposed to have it. You've only been on the planet for 2 decades. How are you going to have it in the bag? You know what I'm saying?
You're supposed to be figuring it out.
That's what's after graduation is for, to figure it out. You might not be at that point where you're like, well, I'm sitting back relaxed as a CEO. That's not going to happen.
But that's the image that they paint to you while you're here. It's like, okay, well, check it. So you're going to go to school here, possibly get an internship, maybe a couple internships. You better network with these old dudes. And then by the end of it, you should be able to secure a job where you make an X, Y, and Z amount of money, stable, all because you got a degree. And then anymore, a bachelor's degree don't mean shit. Like I know people who are successful that didn't pay to go to college and they just out here living and are successful. So it's like, does the degree really matter? Because it really...
As time progresses, the degree the matter of the degree decreases.
Yeah.
You gotta have a bachelor's to flip a burger. It's like you have to.
Yeah.
It's hard out here.
It is hard. You be like, damn, be looking real bleak.
Right. You got a bachelor's to fill somebody's soda cup.
Stop there. You got to say it.
I'm sorry.
But like the good thing about pursuing that paper, to bring it back on more positive and though the realistic is important to like understand. But like the fact that we're having these experiences like study abroad or going to intern places, like figuring out how to network with people. So like all those experiences like something you wouldn't. I'm not saying you wouldn't necessarily give. You wouldn't like be on a college campus, but like being on a college campus like fosters the type of environment where like there's learning, there's all these different opportunities. You're trying to figure stuff out. You're starting new things. So just being in an environment where people like. Where you can learn and make mistakes and like it's okay to make mistakes in this space because there's people in this place to help you figure it out.
And I think we definitely take that for granted sometimes when we're here, is how many opportunities are awarded to us if you really go searching for it. Like to us it's just like what you're supposed to do, but I think sometimes to other people it's like that's a good opportunity, but we kind of brush it off like I gotta do more. I feel like a lot of times just in life in general, it'd be like you do one good thing, you brush it off like, oh, I gotta do more, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, you know, that's not good enough, you know what I mean? Instead of like taking some time to kind of just pat yourself on the back, because I mean when you think about just being here alone is an accomplishment. Being here and trying to make it financially, academically at the same time, that's an accomplishment within itself. I don't think too many of us, we just be like, oh, I'm here, I'm in school, but shit, that's an accomplishment.
And being here gives an opportunity. I mean, you might not be able to network with the old men, but you can network with people that have found that way to network. You can learn from them, and then when you get out of here, you'll be able to find something better because you know how to talk. Whether it's entry level, knowing how to speak to people, but you've definitely had to learn because you had to interact with professors. You've had to have group projects. You've been forced to, and it's not a high school project. It's like you might have had to do a capstone. So you have to learn how to talk to people. So I think that this is a good place, that we've been given that opportunity to be able to do that.
Kind of want to go off topic a little bit, kind of to the point where you were saying, being able to talk to different people. I think one thing is sometimes we get comfortable only talking to people that look like us. I know I do. And so I get wrapped up in wanting support only from my own community. I don't know how you guys, especially as a creative person, when you're kind of trying to be successful at selling something or trying to be successful at trying to market stuff to your own community, and if they don't catch on, you feeling kind of discouraged. I don't know if that's anything that you guys have encountered.
Absolutely.
Yeah. As I was looking at you like,
yeah, it's like you're talking into like thin air or something, like nothing comes back, like, and you're like, dang, like, what am I doing wrong? Like, and you start doubting yourself. Like, I've been trying to like get off of that, like, and then like I have to remind myself why I create or why I do what I do. It's because like I love it. It brings me fulfillment. So I'm not doing it for public consumption. Right. So if people don't like it, then that's on them. Like, or if they do, then they can support me in some kind of way. So, and then that's also true about getting comfortable with talking to people. Like, I feel like if you don't look like me, because I've been in so many predicaments where I have at least tried to talk to people who don't look like me, and then like it's a microaggression coming just creeping up, and I'm just like, I cannot deal with this. So let me go back to my hiding space where I feel comfortable around these people. Like, I cannot do it. So like, I definitely think that's a huge challenge, because once we graduate here, like, and we're looking for opportunities, we're going to be in those uncomfortable spaces because there's not a lot of people that look like us. Yeah. So, like, it's like sadly having to learn how to navigate those spaces, but I don't want to. So it's just like, it is hard. It is a challenge.
Especially kind of like coming into a PWI, and then we all came through groups. So you get accustomed to being around people that solely look like you. You know what I mean? So then it just kind of becomes like, I feel like I know everybody within my community, but I don't really know nobody outside of that. Like at my school, like in the media school and stuff like that, I don't know nobody unless they're within the black community.
And I feel like even though it's kind of, it sounds bad, but even though we're at a PWI and we are 4, 5, 6%, I feel like that is the frame of the world right now. This frame of here. So it kind of puts us in a situation where, I mean, when you get out, this is how it's going to be. We're not at a HBCU where that's all you're around and you are able to, learn how to do this without being the 4%. But being here, being the 4%, that's we're minorities, and that's kind of how it is when you graduate. So being able to learn how to do that here would catapult you extremely when you graduate.
I want to know y'all thoughts on this idea, like clout, popularity sometimes is what is equated to success. What are y'all thinking about that? What do you guys think about that?
Go ahead.
Okay. Sometimes I do feel like life is like a popularity contest. One, because like I'm an introvert. Like I don't like, if I come across you, I'll like talk to you, but like I'm not like very like much of a socialite, which is weird being a journalist. So like, and I don't necessarily, I'm trying to like condition myself to not think it as a disadvantage. It's just kind of like, this is my journey. So whoever I come across, I was meant to meet that person. Like, so like, I feel like maybe if like I was more known within the Black IU community, then my art would pop off. You know what I mean? Or like what I would like what I do would pop off. But if you're like not known, not like you're low key and you're trying to build something, like
it's hard.
Good luck. Good luck, Charlie, because it's not gonna happen. Like I don't know. It's just like hard to like networking necessarily when like you're not like really ingrained. Because like even in groups, like I like mess with the people that I came in with high school with, but I didn't really like. I met Victoria. Like I knew you for a little bit, but like we never really interacted. We were on the same floor. Never interacted. Like literally. Like so, it's just like I'm not very social, and I'm not mean or anything. It's just not my thing. Like I like to keep it low key, but like when I need things, then like certain things, like, and I need support from my own community, but I don't really know my own that much on this campus. Like I don't really know a lot of people, so it's like difficult. Like I feel like life is a popularity contest, and it's like it doesn't matter how talented you are. Like it does not. Sometimes it don't matter. Like if you got clout, then you got, you know what I mean? Like, and that's just networking. That's all that is. It's just, instead of like clout, it's like called networking. It's just like something that I've struggled with. Like that's my like biggest challenge in college is like getting out of my shell and talking to the right people.
Because you almost have to. Like even if you're a shy person, you almost have to be able to do that. Yeah. Otherwise, how are you going to sell a product? How are you going to market something? Yeah. A part of it does come from like trying to force yourself out of your shell. But like you said, like for me, I'm the same way. It's sometimes I can be outgoing if I really know you. But initially, not really. Yeah. Like, I'm not the first person to speak up in a crowd or something like that. So I definitely feel you on that. And kind of to add to that, I feel like social media clout, again, kind of factors into that. Like, the amount of followers is the amount of reach that you have. So you're concerned about, building these followers to get that type of support, to get that success that you want, whether that's, like, trying to sell something, whatever that might be. So I feel like that is a thing, too.
But I feel like I've gotten pretty far without clout. Like, no shade, no tea. Like, I feel like I don't do what I do for attention. Like, I don't do anything for, like, any type of, like social capital, which I guess I need to, like, start valuing social capital more just because we're living in that age of, like, social media and stuff like that. Like, I should value it more, but I never really did. And I've always been about the grind and, like, doing what fulfills me, and I've gotten this far with it. So I'm just like, do I really need
it's social capital with the right people.
With the right people.
Because really, I don't even want to say it like that because that sounds really bad. I feel like in the grand scheme of things, like when this is all over, some people you'll never see again. Like this social capital that exists here doesn't really matter. Like I hate to keep going back to this, but during my internship, that's something I realized. Like these are the people that I need to maintain social capital with. These are the people where it matters, who I need to network with, who I need to stay connected with. Not people that, in a way are temporary. Like this is a temporary situation, you know what I mean? And not to say people can't benefit you. You don't never know where people are going to go in life, but you lose some people,
I feel like here it's a bubble though. It's a bubble of clout. It's like it's like you in or you out, and it's within those 4 years you just see like the grand scheme of it all, and you're like, I mean, is it really worth it? But at the same time, you have to see the worth in it because you're not going to get what you need if you don't try to interact with somebody that has that clout. whether, sometimes whether it's positive or negative clout. That clout is something. It's a motherfucker.
I don't know. And then I feel like if people perceive that you have it or that
Perceive.
that
It's the
you
perception.
I don't want to word this.
Just
I
say
don't know. I feel like when people perceive that you have something that they want to stand to gain, then all of a sudden you got clout. Then all of a sudden people want to mess with you. It's only if sometimes you have something that they can benefit from.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous. That's why I be keeping to myself.
Okay.
Can't nobody use me if I ain't talking to them.
Okay. Right. You don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
This is my thing. I definitely want to help anybody that I can help and put on anybody that I can put on. But I think too sometimes it's like, if I'm gonna help somebody, I'm gonna help you build a skill. As far as I'm gonna help you build a resume, I'm gonna help you build how to network, I'm gonna help you build that type of thing. And I think sometimes it's about, to reach that success, put me on in the sense that don't help me, but put me on.
Yeah, that's
And
the difference between put me on and help me.
Yeah.
Putting you on is just handing it to you. I've done this work.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that it's fair for me to just give it out when I just did all this. I'm not the foundation of everybody's success. I am the foundation of my success.
Because I feel like I put you on game, I put you on knowledge, no problem. But I think sometimes that's not enough for people.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because there's one time, but like several times I try to give people advice on study abroad and like scholarship, and I'm like, all right, it's my business card. If you ever want to learn like more about things, opportunities for money, like reach out to me. But like people want you like to actually hand them the money, and like that's not the way it works. But we're like, I don't have the cash. Like I can give you the opportunities, the websites, the people to reach out to get that funding so you can be overseas.
I think what it all comes down to, just from this whole conversation that we've been talking about, I think really just attaining success and achieving success is really just come down to hard work. And really, too, how bad you actually want to put in that work. How bad do you want it? Because it shows. So I feel like, I think as long as you're working hard towards the things that you want to achieve, then, ain't nowhere else to go but up.
Boom. Boom, shakalaka, boom, boom.
Yeah. Okay, y'all, this concludes the first episode of No Brew Sh. Tune in next week because I have something very interesting to talk about in case y'all didn't see. ASAP Rocky said he has a sex addiction since middle school. So I think it'd be kind of interesting to talk about sex addiction, talk about sex, virginity, everything underneath the sun. And so tune in next week for that episode. Bye.